Good evening to you. Today we are going to look at how the first family fared on earth. So we are at Genesis chapter 4. Now the man had relations with his wife Eve, and she conceived and gave birth to Cain. And she said, I have gotten a man-child with the help of the Lord. There's a slight suggestion that in this separation between husband and wife, the birth of the child was considered as her achievement, if you may. I'm just positing a suggestion that increasingly the wedge between the husband and wife increased. But of course they knew marriage is for life. That was God's law written into their heart. She said, I have gotten a man-child. It was a statement here. Whereas every child is a gift of God and both contribute, so to say, but a mother faces the greater risk. Again she gave birth to his brother Abel, and Abel was a keeper of flocks, but Cain was a tiller of the ground. So from the beginning, agriculture and husbandry or shepherding, looking after husbandry, animal flocks, were together according to the biblical record of sociology. Whereas historical sociology says otherwise, but the biblical statement says that both went side by side. So it came about in the course of time that Cain brought an offering to the Lord of the fruit of the ground. So it was written into the heart of man. Perhaps Adam and Eve taught the children that part of their produce should be brought back as an offering to God. So that was both intuitive sense and parental instruction handed down. So why would people bring an offering to God? One, out of gratitude. Two, thanksgiving. Three, that this offering would qualify them for more. Four, under duress, as obligation, if I don't bring to God, God will not help me further, or worse still, He will punish me. So already people had in their insight. Now, of course, this is after the separation from God, after that disobedience, and with the thoughts that you agreeing with the thoughts that serpent put, that God did not mean to give you the best, working with that. So that turns out as we have to do our best for God to give His best. So that it is hard to please God. All those deviations, distractions, distortions of the knowledge of God had already come to man. So when he brings that offering, he certainly has better offering, better prospects of whatever I'm going to get. So they were already dealing with God as not as father, as a banker. According to my investment, I'll get dividends and returns. So this bit of bribery also came into this. Bribe God with something so that He can be moved, He can be pleased to do something better for me. That kind of relationship. Certainly Cain seems to have had a understanding like that. So brought an offering to the Lord of the fruit of the ground. It says in the course of time or after some time. Abel on his part also brought the firstlings of his flock. So that means the very first Abel seems to have brought, and of their fat portions, the best he had. And the Lord had regard for Abel and for his offering. Now some people may read into this that Abel's one was involved with blood, and without the remission of blood there is no expiation of sin. But here my take would be, God considered Abel's heart and his offering, for the Lord had regard for Abel and for his offering. But for Cain and his offering, He had no regard. So my suggestion is this is not because what the offering was, but the attitude of the heart, which will soon be seen in Cain's reaction to God's correction. Yes. But for Cain and for his offering, God had no regard. So Cain became very angry and his countenance fell. Now we don't know how this was communicated, that God had no regard for Cain and his offering, or that God did not accept this offering from Cain, or rejected the offering. Of course, again, to say the same thing, not because the offerings were different, but because the offerer was different. Heart of the man who was offering was what God was after, because we know from Psalm 51 that a broken and a contrite heart is the best sacrifice that God looks for, and Abel seems to have had it. Cain did not. So then the Lord said to Cain, "Why are you angry?" So Cain became very angry, and his countenance fell. So when you are angry with God, you are going to take it out on your brother. So Cain very angry, and his countenance fell. So all that God can see. Why are you angry, and why has your countenance fallen? So I like to stop at that point and take it up from next time. Or I will read 7 also. If you do well, will not your countenance be lifted up? So there was a correction, rectification, remedial process available. So at this stage, what God spoke, Cain easily heard. Adam, though they were separated from they were God, in the sense of sin had entered, they still heard God clearly. And if you do not do well, sin is crouching at the door, and its desire is for you, but you must master it. So God offered the remedial message and said, it is possible to do better. We'll take up the rest next time, tomorrow.